Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Authors Up, favorite place to be on Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. We have a full house tonight.
Yes, we do.
We
We're all in our places. It's the shiny faces.
are faces. Everybody is here. Woo, woo, woo.
Yes, God, we are. Thank you tonight. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
I am so glad to see everybody. Boy, I tell you, it seems like it has been a long time. Hello there, Kay. How are you? Glad to have you in the house tonight. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. We are. Well, let me let the ladies say hello to everybody on their own. We've been speaking for somebody every week. Seems like.
Oh, okay.
What you got to say, Miss Ruth? What you got to say?
Well, hello everyone. Welcome. Glad to have you here on the show. Yeah, no, I'm just happy to be here. Happy that it's Sunday night. Happy for another week.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And you, Miss Victoria, what you got to say?
Hey, everybody. So glad you're here, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We're glad you're here because we couldn't do it without you. And good evening, Bronze Girls. I missed you.
Almost forgot what her voice sounded like.
Right. I missed you last week. That was a good show last week. I watched part of it. And I was like, man, I had questions, but it's okay. You guys did a wonderful job. You really did. And I thank you for
so much.
Giving me some grace.
Well, we've got some tips and tools and great things that we're going to talk about tonight. It's just so glad to be together and have one of those evenings. I like to call them soft evenings, but they're one of those evenings where we just kind of chill a little bit. It's
all right now, okay. Don't let me chill all the way. Wait a minute.
And talk with each other and talk with those on the line. Please feel free if you have a question anytime we have one of these discussion evenings. If you have a question, put it in the comment section. If there's something that you want to know, this isn't just for us. This is a forum for authors, by authors, and those of you who write or think you want to write or have a desire to learn more about writing. You know, we're here for you with tips and tools and other good things. And that's kind of the way we're going to flow tonight. But we are going to start, as we usually do, with our weekend review. And I think you're going to kick us off, Victoria. What you got? What you got?
Yeah, I am just, I'm a little hot tonight, but it's okay. I was running a little temperature this week, and I think it's still working on me. But I am still in Indiana. I came to visit my mom, who was very sick when I got here. And I have watched my mother go from not being quite coherent, all these infections and temperatures raging through her body and some other things that went on, to today when I left her. She is sitting up in the chair. She was sitting in a chair. Well, she was laying there when I left her, but she was up today, got dressed. I saw her wheel herself over to the sink, brush her teeth, comb her hair, and then the queen was in the house. So I just say, to God be the glory. I've seen a miracle. Yeah. I've seen what a miracle looks like. And I am rejoicing tonight that my mom is still in her right mind. We were able to celebrate her 92nd birthday while I was here. And it's just amazing because she really was very, very sick. and to see
Mm.
where she is now. When I left her, and of course, I started crying because I'm a big old baby. And she said, "It's okay, Vic. I'm going to see you soon. It's all right. I love you so much." That's it. That's all I needed. So
Uh,
to God be the glory tonight. I just thank Him for what He's done, and I'm telling you, I know what a miracle looks like. I promise you.
Amen. Amen. That's good. That makes me feel good. Yes, that's one of those feel good moments.
Yes, I thank you guys
Glad
for your
you're back.
prayers,
We're
for
glad
all the
that you
prayers. Yes, thank you.
glad you're back and glad you're back with good news.
Yep, yep, yep.
Indeed, indeed. So how about you, Miss Ruth? Are you next up?
I am, yes. So you guys recall like during the summer when that heat wave hit and my HVAC started not working,
Yes, I remember.
and then we got it fixed,
Yeah, it was
and then
And it broke
the
again?
cold
sort
weather.
of like, it rigged a little bit, wasn't quite fixed, but it was working.
Okay, yes, and then we actually got it fixed,
Okay,
and then we
okay.
had to turn the heat on, and the house, the HVAC was like, no, I don't think so.
Uh,
So
So now you
it's
don't
like
have no
a
heat?
comedy of errors. It's like for whatever reason, it only stays like five below what we set it. So, but it's not also not heating the house. So we have space heater in the living room. There's actually one underneath my desk, but also I'm in menopause, so I have a fan going in front of me, so I can't
I
tell if
get it.
I'm hot or
I get it. Right. I get it.
so that's been mostly my week.
Oh
But
my gosh.
beyond that, I'm excited because I got a walking pad. It's kind of like a treadmill, but not as big. So, like winter's always the toughest part for me when it becomes to exercise because I can't go running outside.
Right.
And this in no way replaces that, but it'll help me continue to be keep me active. So I'm excited about that.
Oh,
Um,
good.
lastly, I decided that I'm going to I have a new challenge for myself that
Hmm.
I'm going to take up on my Substack and on actually TikTok. And that's I'm going to read my TBR list, my to be read. I'm not gonna buy any more books. I'm gonna read the ones I have.
Well,
So,
Oh, you have books that you haven't read yet?
oh my God, I was going through my Kindle. I have about 300 books in
Ruth,
there that I haven't.
shame.
Okay,
Wow.
maybe it was more like 230. So I'm
Oh
gonna give
yeah.
myself. But then there's the other 100 that are on my shelves. So I'm like, no, I should just read those. So
You think?
I do.
Okay.
So I'm actually gonna start. I'm gonna shift gears a little bit because I had like a Ruth Reads section on my newsletter, and anybody who would like to follow me along
Yeah.
and watch me not buy books, come on. I'm on TikTok. It's Ruthie Griffin. Same thing on Substack. So I'll be reading and reviewing those books. And I was kind of like, maybe do I want to do this? Because I don't read like the books that are trending.
Right.
But some of them may be mangas, some of them may be romances from like
Yeah,
way back
yeah.
when. So I think that'll give it enough diversity. We're not all readers, but
Right, right.
we all have our own taste.
Well, I'll
So
certainly make sure I follow you on TikTok and yeah, listen to Ruth Reads. Yeah, I love it. I
okay,
love it. I love it.
thank you. Yes. So
And
Andrea, how was
I will do the same.
yes? How was
Last,
your week?
last week was a good week.
Good.
It started with doctor's appointments,
Uh,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
I believe the report of the Lord. So thus far,
Amen.
I'm gonna go with that. Still got some things to do, but that's okay. Um, uh, God was in a good mood last week because He was writing. Whew, my little pen was busy.
Oh, wow.
So I got a short story done last week,
Ah,
and yes, I did, and I got a blog piece done last week, and
all
I
right.
got some information from our last author that we interviewed last week, and I started putting some of that into practice. And it was really funny because as I started with these, great flashes of creativity from the author of The Profitable Author. And I said, before I wrote my first thing down, I thought, oh no, this is too much. It's not gonna be
And I know she. I watched a little bit of the show, and when she said do 5 things every day,
every day. Do
just
five
do
things every
something towards your book and being an author.
day.
Do 5 things every day, and I want to try to do that.
Well,
Mhm.
I tell you what I did. The first thing that I decided to do was, and I think it was the author's, it's what she
Yep.
has. The
Creed.
book is called The Author's Creed.
Hmm.
And I said the first thing that I was going to do, because I have written a blog piece about this whole new
Yeah.
journey, step by step. And I put in there that the first thing that I was going to do was rewrite the creed so that it fit me.
Okay.
So there were, and that is, I have not completed it yet in detail, but I came up with the categories, and they're my top 10 principles. Uh,
Oh.
so I am going to do something, but one of the things that I said in the principles was the number. I would decide the number and nature of the things that I would do on a daily basis,
Okay.
because I don't want to start doing something and then the next day I'm totally off track with what I'm going to do. Um,
Okay.
so I'm working on the balance of it all, but it is motivational for me.
Mm-hmm.
It is putting some things out there for me. One of
Mm-hmm.
the things that I learned um, when I was completing my certification for life coaching was that I had to understand my currency,
Mm.
and that everybody's currency is not the same. Nope.
Right.
When I
Right.
think
Right.
of
Right.
things that are fulfilling and satisfying to me, and I hate to say this, but it's just not always money.
Yes.
And it's not always money driven. And
Yes.
I've got to be okay with that. Because there's some things I don't want to follow anybody else's pattern. And too many times I have gotten myself places where I didn't want to be, or ended up not being fulfilling to me, because I was doing the thing that so many of us fall into, which is that trap that somebody said, you need to do this. You
Yes.
say you need to write
Yes.
a book. Somebody says you need to write a blog. Somebody says you need to do that. Well, if that is not satisfying to me, and if I can't be passionate about it, I'm just going through the motions and just kind of marching along to somebody else's beat.
Right. Right.
So I want to see. Now, here's the thing that scared me. When I said I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this for 6 months, the author said, and I'm going to check on you in 6 months.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yes, she said she wrote it down too. She gonna do it.
So
Oh, I missed that part. I gotta go back and watch it.
choice.
The whole thing. Oh my
I have
goodness.
no choice. But I really feel that if I do anything, I may not make all my goals. I may not do everything on my list that I say I want to do. But if I do anything, and that was my first thing, to set my goals for my now and my next.
All right. That's nice.
So and do it in a way that if I need to adjust, I can adjust, and I can do it without guilt.
Right.
Because that's the thing that gets us, oh gosh, I didn't do my 5 things today.
Yeah, yes, yes. And who said it had to be the same 5 things?
If nobody goes in the corner, I'm going to go in the corner, and I'm going to hope they don't bring it up for the next 3 weeks. Because I didn't do my 5 things.
I love when we have a book like that
Yeah.
we can take things and just apply it to ourselves as well as
Yeah.
authors and write. I love that. I really love that. And that was a good show. That's a good book. I plan to buy that book.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I really I'm enjoying what I'm getting out of it,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
and I am enjoying the fact that I am taking some action.
All right now. All
May
right
not
now.
may not be along, all of the lines and all of the directions in the book that she has, but it's about what I need for me.
Right. I have a quick question for you guys. Are we doing the nano right more this year?
I am not.
No.
Nope.
Nope.
No, ma'am. 1 year was enough.
Actually, we did 2 years. Didn't we do two?
Yes,
I
we
You
did
did.
did.
too.
I don't think I did too. I think
You
I
Oh,
did.
well,
did.
I did.
You
I
did.
started. I started the other one, but I did not finish that manuscript.
Right.
It has the detectives and all of that in it. I I still have that out there,
Well,
but
I
I'm
am proud.
telling you
Yes.
that someone is interested in filming the train. Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
What?
yeah.
Oh, congratulations! Snap,
We'll
snap, snap,
see.
snap.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Oh, but that's nice.
And it's nice
Awesome.
that somebody even thought about it.
Yes, congratulations. I
So
am so proud of you guys.
we'll
I'm
see,
so
we'll
proud of
see
y'all.
what happens. Hi, good night, Kayetta. Thanks for joining.
That's nice. Oh my gosh.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
We shall see. Yes, we shall see. Well, I'm glad that I submitted my manuscript that I started on Nano Right More. Was it about 2 years ago? It
Mm-hmm.
was 2 years ago. I finished it and submitted it to the publisher. So
All right.
I'm so excited. My new book will be out next year. See Me With Your Heart.
All right.
The first in the series. It's gonna be a series, so watch out.
All right.
I'm so happy tonight. We all doing stuff.
Doing stuff that we are. That we are. Okay, where are we on our list of stuff to do?
What are we gonna talk
Maybe
about
a show
tonight?
tonight?
And what you got, Ruth? What you got?
Oh, that's my introduction? Okay. So tonight, sorry,
Okay.
that came out wrong.
You want me to do another one and build you up? I can.
Yeah, well, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, okay. Well, I am so glad that everybody is here this evening. We have another very, very exciting show. This is our program for authors, by authors, anything that you think would help you to put that pen to paper or do whatever you do in order to get that story told. This is exactly where you need to be. And who better than our co host is there in the house to lead us in this discussion, but Ruth E. Griffin,
Yes.
Griffin Publishing. Ruth, please join us.
Oh
Oh, that
my
was
gosh.
beautiful.
How did I do? Don't
You,
challenge me.
That was beautiful.
I hope I live up to that introduction. Hold on.
You
Checks
do.
in
You
the
do.
mail, checks in the mail.
All right, all right. Well, pursuant to that introduction, tonight we're going to be talking about cultivating your writer's voice. Your voice as a human is unique to you. You hear stories about how babies can identify their mother's voices, react to it in the same way, we can identify, if you're a mother, you can identify your babies, or, even by hearing a sound, it can bring back memories. It's just very unique to you as a person. And likewise, your voice as a writer is unique to you. Um, it should be. We'll get to that in a second. Um, and I want to share this, not to pump myself up, but you guys have been great about complimenting my books, and I've always thought you guys are being nice. I do
Oh
believe
wow.
of myself as a writer. I
I
do
understand
believe,
though. I
yeah,
understand.
yeah. So I do believe in myself as a writer, but um to hear you guys, I have another friend. She's always telling me, yes, I could see your, I read your books and I see it as a movie. And I always thought, oh, okay, you're being nice. So this week, I've been serializing Stepmothers Anonymous. I've been cross posting it a lot around several sites, and I got a comment back from a young lady, and she wrote, "The depth and emotional clarity in your writing caught my attention right away. There's a natural flow to your storytelling. Each moment feels intentional, yet effortless. You have the rare ability to make readers feel rather than just read. And that's a
Wow.
mark of a true storyteller." And she goes on to say that uh, how adaptable my story structure is in its rhythm, its emotion, and cinematic movement. And that just goes into what you guys have said, which is, again, reiterance that you can see, you can feel my stories. And that is and it's funny the timing of it, that is a great example of a writer's voice.
Yes.
I had someone else tell me that, you could feel the angst in my stories. And I realized, okay, it's not about the romance, it's not about the fantasy that I write, it is about the emotion.
Right.
That is what's central to me.
Mhm.
So we're going to talk about, your writer's voice tonight.
Wait, stop for a second. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Kudos to you on that. Because that, that is like the highest compliment when we write something. That's what
Mhm,
you want to hear back about your writing. And
mhm.
that is amazing. And I'm so glad that somebody else said it, saw it, and just patted you on the back for that, because you're right. You're good. You're good. And now you know it's just not us. And it's not just imposter syndrome, okay? You
Yeah.
can write, lady.
Yeah.
No, you know what? I do believe that, and I think, I equate it to, and I think for most of us who are mothers will understand this. How you fuss at your child, they won't clean up, but you take them to their babysitter's house, and now they're over there pulling out the vacuum and helping her clean out.
Right.
Mhm.
So, you almost have to hear it from a stranger in order to
Yes.
understand. Okay,
Yeah.
this is, there's no bias there.
Right.
Uh,
And
and
I think that is there. I can't think of anything better, at least not right at the moment, than to have that kind of accolade from someone you don't know,
mhm,
because it is so easy to fall into the thing of saying, "Oh, they're just being nice."
mhm.
Right.
They know I've worked on it, and they're just being nice. And I don't know why, but as long as you've known us, we don't do things just to be nice. I hate to admit it, but we really don't, because the essence of all of this is to be better and to grow
Yes,
and
Yes.
to
absolutely.
I'm not where I was when we started this 6 years
Amen.
ago.
Mhm.
You're right.
No, none of us are.
You're right.
I mean, even in the little intro thing, I wouldn't have done that 6 months ago, because 6 months, 6 years ago, I didn't even want to go live.
Right. That's true. That's true.
So that whole piece, hearing it from somebody else who doesn't owe you anything, who's not you're
Mhm.
not paying them to tell you, you're not, they're just doing it because it has moved them to that
Yes.
Exactly.
level and to that point to you.
Exactly.
And I think that's wonderful.
I
So
do too.
I'm with Victoria. Congratulations again
Yes.
on that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And all of that actually leads into what we're talking about, because, it is important to understand your writer's voice. It
Right.
is important to understand, a confident voice is a stamp of authority for writers. Y- and we can have doubts of who we are and ourselves and everything, but when we write, who we are should shine through. Who we are at our core
Right.
should shine through. And the fact is, if we can write a book, I mean, think about it. This is how I see it. I can take 60,000 words, arrange them on a page, and now I can move somebody. You know, that is authority. That is, you are an expert in something. And it's the same thing with you, Victoria. You know, the world will get to see me with your heart. you
Yeah.
know, I'll be honest, reading it the first time, I was like, oh, this is good. Reading it the second time, I was like, oh, she did a really good job getting her story together because I
Thank
had
you.
not expected the flow with which you went. And I
Wow.
think that that speaks
Wow.
to your storytelling ability.
Thank
So
you. Thank you.
you're
And you
welcome.
know what? Coming from you, and I know you love me, and I feel the same way like you. Coming from you
Thank
though, that is such a high compliment, and
thank you.
I'm really humble because you read all kinds of books. You read
Yeah.
across thousands of genres, and for you to say that about my book, it just makes me feel good about the work. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. And, again, we're not here to pat ourselves on the back,
No,
but I think
no.
pat each other on the back. But I think it speaks to all of this speaks to that again the writer's voice. Why we
Yes.
read what we read. The other part of it is why it's important to understand this is that consistent voice. That again, I was told that I have a, I realized that my superpower was angst. It was, be
Wow.
able to write emotions, and it is consistent through my writing. You know,
Yeah.
Sometimes I got to go back and read it and go, did I do that right? But,
Right.
the fact that I can get feedback like that
Yes.
tells me it is important. And that is something that I keep in mind, even like with uh, the Stepmothers Anonymous. I keep going back to that because, again, most of it is written, but now I'm going back and adding stuff that I wanted to do the first time, but I didn't because
Really?
my editor said, you got to cut out some words. And I had to cut out 50,000
Wow.
words. So now I think the last two chapters I added in, and it was like, okay, am I telling the story correctly? Am I being consistent? Am I, being intentional with everything
Mhm.
that I'm adding? So it is, as a understanding what you write and what your writer's voice is will allow your readers to see and hear your voice, and that is where you make your fans.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk about what a writer's voice is. And it is not the same as our spoken voice. The way we speak is not the way we write.
Wow.
And
For real?
for real, for
Wow.
real, it has to be more concise. And
Okay.
one of the things I want you to notice this as you guys write, especially you, Victoria, because you're leaning more into the fiction, but
Yeah.
Andrea, I know you're going into microfiction as well. Think about the word that. When I say I want you to, think about how you use the word that because we
Okay.
use it more in spoken, but grammar wise,
Okay.
it serves no purpose in a sentence.
Wow.
So as you write, look back to see how many that's you
You
have
use.
spoken and then how many you've written because you can take those out and that is an example of your spoken word versus your written word.
I have nothing to write on. Would you believe I have nothing to write on tonight? What the what?
Can you see me turning around here?
Yes,
Oh,
you're
good
doing
for
it.
you. You're funny.
I'm looking for my template. I feel awful, but I can't find my
I just
template.
had to watch it again, but that's a good point. Thank you for that. Because
Mhm.
thank you.
That. Thank you
That
for
That,
word.
yes, that is one example. And oftentimes you'll find, especially folks, um, I'm not putting anybody down, but when
Okay.
you get folks who try to mimic a southern accent, oh my God, that can be painful to read because they're trying to mimic something that is spoken, and that does not always
Right.
work.
And there's no sound in the book. So you can't relay that.
Mm-mm.
You could just say in a certain sentence, Victoria said in a southern slang and keep it moving.
Yeah, and there are some words that, obviously you can, y'all or yonder or things like
Yeah.
that. Those, but when you try to write the whole thing out in that accent, that just does not work. It's very difficult.
I see what you're
Also,
saying.
and also you have to consider things, I I've been reading some books that my daughter's been reading lately, just so we have something to share and talk about.
Hmm.
And what I'm discovering is again, no slam on the authors, no slam, but it's something you have to consider when you try to go genderless. It
Okay.
becomes,
Okay.
when you start talking about this character and they are they and they are them and they are, and it becomes very difficult to
Yeah.
read. So you're trying to relay something that is spoken into the written word, and that
Gotcha.
does not always translate well. So
Okay.
your spoken word and your written word are two different things, and what you're going to find is oftentimes your written word will be a lot more concise. It may be a little more, um and these seem at odd, but it will be concise, but it may be a little more descriptive. It may be a little
Which, which,
more,
which is more concise, the written or
this the written word is
the
more
written is more
concise.
concise?
Yes. Yes. So, and it comes down, your writing voice comes down to the words that you set down. And guys, I did some internet searching. I got some of this from a writer,
Hmm.
Wordcraft on Reddit. So I wanted to give them credit. But your consistent voice throughout your writing serves as a way of branding. Think about some of the books you read.
Yeah.
Um, I've got a few examples here. J.K. Rowling, she tends to be whimsical in her
Hmm.
prose, and that's how people identify her. But again, think about who she writes towards.
Right.
Um, Stephen King, he is very dense and very descriptive, but you know what you're reading and
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
imagine
And
the
you can
character.
visualize that too.
Yes, yes. So it comes down to style. So think of I've read a book. Elizabeth Stevens. She is a spicy romance author, but there's a gentleness in her words when she writes. The first book of hers that I read was called "The Bone King and the Starling," and it is a interracial Viking romance. So it, it is what it is. But it was just the way she wrote her characters, even when the Bone King, the Viking, was being a Viking and killing people. It was just like, oh, okay, he's doing this for that reason. And the words were intentional, how she used them. There was a gentleness to her. So
Is that gonna be on the book club at any time? The book club?
I don't think
Think so. Oh, okay.
we can create our own little book club because that book is incredible. But I'm not
Oh,
recommending
okay. It's not for
it.
the other book club.
No.
Okay. I did,
So
when you said spicy, I was like, you had me at spicy.
okay, look, we are gonna read it then because it is
Okay.
fairly short. She is concise, but the
Okay.
thing is, it's just she understood her assignment. Let's put it that way, because she is a woman of color, and she targeted her book to women of color.
Okay.
And again, her tone was just gentle through from start to finish because you came, even though there was a lot of uncertainty in the story, because there are rules to writing. It was just like her tone drew you in, and you were cheering for them before you even knew who they were. So
Oh wow.
yeah. So I mean, you guys, you are readers as well. Do you what kind of books? What authors?
Well, for me, oh, did we lose? Did we lose?
No,
Um,
she stepped away for a second.
okay. We I love D. Henderson. Now you know I love romance. I love
Hmm.
romance and I love mystery. And
Yes.
D. Henderson is a Christian author who combines both of those things. I love a who done it, and in the middle of it, somebody gonna fall in love in that who done it. And so it was beautiful. D. Henderson. I read at least 20 of her books, and then Lisa Jackson. Lisa Jackson writes those who done it, those mysteries. Like somebody got murdered, we got to figure out who did it. And I have read like uh, dozens of her book as well. So those
So why do you like them then? What do
I
you like about their voices?
what I like about the way they tell the story.
Mhm.
It is it keeps you interested from the first page. I like that sometimes the book starts one way. It has a prologue, and so then
Mhm.
you got to read to catch up to what you read to the prologue. And I think I copied that in my book.
Mhm.
So I love that. And let's see who else. Oh, Elin Harris, and I think I've talked about him before. He wrote books about his experience as coming out of being homosexual.
Mhm.
But he was a Black author. He has passed now, but I have all his books. The way he told the story
Mhm.
of this young man and the things that he went through on the other side, like you see what people present, but what sometimes what you don't see is like behind the scenes. And I love the way he wrote that out in all his books. Each one was a sequel to each other. It's a whole set of books. I can't remember the name of it. Maybe I will before we're through. But I love the way both of the voices. It was a Black author who was homosexual, and his voice. He
Mhm.
made those stories seem so real because it was real.
Mhm. Okay. Okay.
Oh, that's what I got it. It's called The Invisible Life.
Okay.
Invisible Life. And he was one way when he went to work and with his friends, but then he had another life behind the scenes.
Mhm. Mhm. So, and see, and again, more often than not, what we'll find is the author's voice. It is their style. It is their craft. The way they write that draws us in. We may be attracted to the story, but ultimately, it is the way the author writes the story that pulls us in. So,
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
yes. So, how do we, as authors, how do we realize our author's voice? How do we cultivate our author's voice? And
Mhm.
again, it took me years to figure out what it is, and I'm still,
Okay.
20 years in, I'm realizing, okay, I'm going head in now that I understand what I write and how I affect people. This is how I'm going to proceed forward. So how do you cultivate if you're starting? Number one, I want you to understand that no one can tell you what your voice should be.
Hmm.
Andrea, you were talking before about, the author's creed. If somebody tells you, what you're going to find is that you're not going to be able to be consistent in that. It's
Right.
going to feel like a betrayal to who you are, because that's not who you are.
Mhm.
So always keep that in mind. No one's going to be able to tell you what your voice and what your voice should be. So to help you narrow your voice down, learn to be concise, be concrete. Know the ideas you want to share. And here's the other part: don't blabber. Don't
Hmm.
Again, that is your speaking voice. When you have your fillers, you have your ideas, you have the almost ADHD moments where you're just like here and there and there and squirrel and all over the place. Understand each word must build upon your opinion, your description, character development. Say what you need to say with authority. If a passage is difficult to follow, readers will lose interest. So be concise, think about what you want to say, and then think about how you would say it.
Okay.
All right. And don't follow that rabbit trail. So,
Okay.
all right. Okay. Number two, read other authors.
But wait, isn't that contradictory to what you just said?
There's a thought behind that, because
Okay,
this
come on
what
with it. 'Cause-
so the idea is to understand how other authors construct their writing.
Okay.
Consider the style, and this is more homework than it is, okay, this is what you're going to do. And I always love sharing this, and I was going to share it later, but I'll do this now. You don't emulate other people.
Okay.
You have to be you. But I always take a think about the Middle Ages. That's when the art renaissance was flourishing, and you had, and this was my favorite. I don't have a membership with the art museum, but I'm on their email list because there are certain displays that I love. And when Rembrandt came to North Carolina, um, they had rooms and rooms and rooms of his work. But if you read all the little details, they could only identify like maybe half of it was actually done by Rembrandt
Oh,
because
really?
he was in such high demand. What he did was, and him and like a lot of the great masters would hire apprentices, teach them how to paint just like him, and
Oh,
they would do the work.
not plagiarism in art. What?
No,
What
the
what
idea
do you
was
call
that
that?
you're hiring for
What?
a certain style. And then that's where the word masterpiece comes from because
Oh,
the apprentices were training to be just like the master, and they would go through the process. They would do some of the work, and then they would present their final piece to the master, and then they would be able to apply for mastership, to become a master themselves.
ah,
And that, in essence, I look at it that way. So, when you read other authors, what you're looking
okay.
for is their style. You're trying
Yes.
to understand how they do this, how,
Yes.
it's understanding again how Elizabeth Stevens writes, how Stephen King writes, how J.K. Rowling writes, or any other
My
author
Lisa
that you
Jackson,
read.
my E.L.
Yes.
Harris, and Danielle Steele. Let's not forget Danielle Steele.
So,
I was one of those that every time she had a book, I had it. I had to
mhm.
get rid of all my Danielle Steeles, but and how does she crank out all those books all these years? And it still be a
She
different story.
She probably had apprentices,
Some
same way.
ghostwriters, huh?
Yes, well, maybe not ghostwriters, but maybe she did like James Patterson. James Patterson will, people talk down upon his latest books because what he's doing is he's lending his name to other authors that he writes with, or he
Yes,
gives them idea and they write
yes,
it. And
yes.
basically what he's doing, he's giving them a chance. He's saying,
Right,
okay, I'm gonna put
right.
my name on this. Again,
Okay.
just like the Rembrandt,
He
you're
could put
buying a
he could put his name on my book, and guess what? It'll sell millions.
exactly. And that was the idea. But
Right.
here you want to understand what they did so that
Yeah.
maybe you're not replicating what they do, but
Right.
maybe you're looking at the process and
At the
going,
style.
okay,
At the
yeah.
style. What
So
about this book made it so successful?
yes,
And take that style and put it in my. I got you. I understand now.
yes,
Thank you.
yes, yes. So next point is write drunk, edit sober.
What? What? Say it again. What? What?
I
Right.
like this one.
I, I can have some wine.
I like this
You want to write. It is allowing yourself to write. I've never been. I'm discovering I can't. I have no tolerance for alcohol at all.
Right.
I'll have an occasional wine or champagne, but it is allowing yourself to be free. It is allowing yourself to just write, to pour out what's in you. And
Right.
then later on, you allow your thoughts, your feelings, your quirks, everything to come out on the page. And again, this is what we always talk about. You have phases. Just write and then you edit later. Don't edit as you write.
I think that's one of the most valuable tools you ever said to
one. Right.
us on this show.
Hmm.
When you told us like at least 4 or 5 years ago, don't edit as you write, just write.
Mhm.
What? It was like the light bulb went off and I stopped doing it. And
Mhm.
and it has made such a difference in everything I write.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. So keep this in mind again as you write, what's going to come out is you. And then when you edit, that's when you take out the filler words. That's when you take out where your little
All
ramblings
those
are.
vats and this and that.
That's, and yes, all of that. What you're going to be left with is your style.
Worry.
It is who you speak, how not how you speak, but what your writing voice is.
Right.
Um, let's see, find your rhythm. You want to create a rhythmic cadence in your prose. One long sentence after another serves only to tire the reader. So you want to mix it up. Just mix it up. We don't speak in run-on sentences, although some people
Right.
do.
Right.
Um, think about how you write. I think about Julia Alvarez. I read her book, I think probably a couple years ago, After Life, and what struck me first of all was that she doesn't use punctuation for conversation. So there's no quotation marks or anything. So you're just reading the
Oh,
story like it's just like one long story. There's no conversation, but there is. So you have to, number one, acclimate yourself to how she writes, but it is broken up within her thoughts, within the conversations, within what she speaks. And it's just, it's short sentences, long sentences. It is how she relates her story. So
okay.
it drew me in. I'll be
Okay.
honest. I wasn't reading too many Latino authors, and I was trying to remedy that. And I picked that up, and I was like, "Huh." And then once I kept reading, I was like, "Oh, this is her style. This is how she writes." And once I understood that, I jumped head into the story. So,
Wow. Good.
okay. So, last thing, I want to give you a exercise.
Mm,
I want to say, number one, you want to practice. You want to practice. You want to write freely.
really. Okay.
Write freely. You want to. Another thing that you can do is, again, going back
You
to.
hesitating.
I feel like I feel like I'm contradicting myself, but again, there's a method to the madness. There is I don't know if I want to call it a movement, but people are realizing, they go, okay, we want you to do is to copy
Mm-hmm.
one of the greats. Just write it word for word. And what you're going to do is, as you realize, as you write what they wrote, you're going to realize, what their style is, what their, again, going back to the masterpiece. By copying it, you're going to start emulating, in a way, this is the thought process, emulating what is great about their writing. In the
Okay.
same way, but here's the thing, even as you read, um, I read a very questionable, spicy romance book. I'm not going to share the title because you will
Okay.
judge me. But what I realized, what I was doing as I was reading it, was that I was rewriting it in my head.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't that it was well written, but the story was very questionable. And I was, as I was reading it, I was going, if I was writing it, this is how I would do.
Okay.
And that what you're going to find is that, as you quote unquote copy, that's what you, as you the author, is going to be doing in your head, because you
Yes.
are you. And
Yes.
the thing is, if somebody wants to read Hemingway, they're not going to go to you because you can suddenly write like him. They're going to go read his stuff.
The original. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing with every other author. If you are a Terry McMillan fan,
Yes.
and this is the thing that kind of bugs me about some of the marketing, um I don't know what to call it, but the advice that a lot of authors are being given today. Who do you write like that? Who do you write like? Well, put that in your marketing. Oh, if you're a fan of such and such, you'll want to read my book.
No.
No, if I'm a fan of such and such, I'm gonna go read their book.
No. No. Right. 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 Right.
Right. So, the idea is that you're going to learn where they are great, and then you can apply that to your writing, which, then goes back to the last point, which is to rewrite and do it in your own style.
Okay.
So, yeah, and honestly, like I said, it's not, if you already know it, congratulations. What your author voice is, congratulations. If you don't, you'll figure it out. The
Yeah.
more you just have to keep on writing, and
Mm-hmm.
keep writing what you want to write. Now,
Right.
I, again, don't, get a good editor. Next time.
Amen.
Yes, get a good editor. But eventually, what you're going to find, and this was a lesson I learned, I won't say the hard way, but it was a lesson that stuck with me, because, when I started editing, I wrote, uh, again, we were talking about this before, my mind can be very literal.
Okay.
Um, so my husband had written something, and then he gave it to me to edit, and I'm over here fixing grammar according to the grammar rules that I learned in 5th grade, and he's like,
Right.
you just changed the whole thing, is
Oh,
what he
wow.
told me. He's like, that's not me. And I had to stop and look at it and go, you know what, you're absolutely right. So now when I edit, for another author, I go, okay, how are they speaking? How do they speak? How do they convey thoughts? How do they convey their message? Because ultimately that's what it's about. So you're not trying to adhere to grammar lessons that you learned in fifth
Mm-hmm.
grade, because there are authors who will change them. I follow an author called, or a writer called Jeff Tiedrick. He puts out a daily newsletter and he does not use capitals at all. And I'm like,
Okay.
hmm, but that's his style.
Right.
And I can't blast him for that because, fifth grade grammar rules don't apply. So,
Right, right. And using contractions or not,
mhm,
sometimes people will that their writing style is that whatever character or whoever's speaking does not use contractions, or they use contractions like ain't, you like you said, y'all or whatever. So you can't change those things because, like you said, that'll change the whole story.
mhm, mhm. Yeah. So it is, ultimately, I just want to say, remember two things. Do not let anybody else tell you how you should be doing it, and keep writing. As if you keep those two things in mind, if you keep doing those two things, you will discover your author's voice. But
Mm.
just, go through the rest of these, and they will help pull that out of you.
Mhm.
um and you'll be able to, you know understand what your writer's voice is.
Yes.
Absolutely wonderful and right on time, Miss Ruth. You've done it again. You've done it again. I also just want
Gotcha.
to reiterate, and I know that we are like past our time here, but
Uh-oh.
the last things you put on the notes that you sent in the template was don't try to emulate or be something you're not.
Yeah.
Amen.
You're not any other author. You are you, and it's your voice that will impact someone else. I think that's the best advice I can have.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much for tonight. Thank you for giving us the nuggets and the information and the motivation to go forward and produce some wonderful work that somebody's going to be following us. Saying that Henderson woman, what's her name again? Victoria.
That's right.
Yep,
What?
she's
That's
the
right.
one. She's the one.
Amen.
So I thank everybody for being with us. You can find us on authorsupshow.com. That's
Woo! That's it. That's it.
that's our new website.
Oh, y'all got to see the website.
And
It's
we're gonna
beautiful.
we're
It's
gonna
beautiful.
the podcast will be out there Wednesday and all kinds of other stuff are gonna happen. But as long as you remember authorsupshow.com, you got it made.
That's
Yes.
it.
Yeah. Look. We have a blog too on our website. So make sure you subscribe so you can get those in your email. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's it for us for tonight, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope that this has been helpful to you and interesting to you. It will be replayed on this coming Saturday at
mhm.
7 p.m. So if you know anybody that you think may benefit from it, that may not have had an opportunity to come on with us tonight, be sure to tell them about it so they can join the replay on Saturday at 7. And guess what? Sunday at 7 p.m., we're going to be right back here.
Like I had to say, Elder, you got it.
Thanks, Diana. But come back and join us next week right here, 7 p.m. Authors Up on ALH Broadcasting. And I tell you what, you got to come back because you never know what is going to happen when you tune in to Authors Up. So I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care. Everybody have an absolutely amazing
Good
week.
night. Good night, Brown
See you
Girl.
next Sunday,
Good
7
night.
p.m. Night, ladies.
Good
Good
night.
night.